When I was a younger man, I worked at the Jefferson Township Fire Department. I was the midnight to 8 radio dispatcher. And early one morning, toward the end of my shift, in rolls a car into the parking lot, beat-up old car. This disheveled-looking guy gets out, comes to the door. I open the door. Well, he wants me to come out and look at his car. So I prop the door open, and I walk out there. This guy is just full of stories, all sorts of stories. After he leaves, I go back in. The duty man's getting up, and I go, "Hey, Norm." And I describe this guy and tell him what went down, and Norm starts laughing, and he goes, "Oh, that was Berle Dagg. He's crazy." Yeah, tell me about it. Some of the stories he was telling. So anyhow, this is the Ballad of Berle Dagg. 40-some years later, the Ballad of Berle Dagg. Well, here's a story about a man named Berle Dagg, a rumpled kind of guy, clothes hung like a rag. Yeah, I met him one morning at the old FD. Well, he was crazier than a loon, but he looked at me, said, "My name's Berle Dagg." Well, old Berl, he was one hell of a guy, a lot of stubble on his chin, a glint in his eye. Well, he'd tell you tales that would make you squirm, but he made it all up. They didn't give a darn. That was Berle Dagg. Berle Dagg was a traveler, not of this world. You know, he never knew quite which way was up. But when you've been transplanted from a distant galaxy, well, you know it's difficult to adapt. Well, you know, he drove up in a beater car. He was chewing on the stub of a cheap cigar. He says the mafia is after me, 'cause I run down there, hitman. Now, can't you see the dent in my car? Then he lit the cigar. After he had told his tale, he bummed some change. He said he had to make bail. Well, then he took off, a heavy foot on the gas. Well, I waved and smiled as he flew past. The crazy old Berle Dagg. Berle Dagg was a traveler, not of this world. You know, he never knew quite which way was up. But when you've been transplanted from a distant galaxy, well, you know it's difficult to adapt.